What's up, Sledheads? Guard here. Today's video is going to be covering how to customize your character in Sled using RetroArch. I'm going to assume you guys already have RetroArch installed. If not, there's plenty of videos out there showing you how to. But first thing we're going to do is go to Settings, go to Drivers, and make sure our video driver is on Vulkan. After that, we're going to load a core. And the core that you're going to search for is the PlayStation Beetle PSX HW. To find that, you go to download a core. It takes a while to load all of them. But then search Sony and then find PlayStation Beetle PSX HW. After that, you want to load the core. And then after that, load content. This is where you'll find Sledstorm. I cannot provide the ROMs for you guys, but they're out there if you search. So find your file wherever you place it on your desktop or laptop. So after you have loaded the content, the game will start automatically, but I have a favorites option here that I start my game from. Once the game has started, you're going to press F1. Gonna bring up your quick menu options here. Gonna go all the way down to options. And we're gonna turn on the track textures. And after you've done that, you might have to reset RetroArch again for the dump textures and replace textures options to be available. But turn both of those on. You're gonna go ahead and close out RetroArch. And you need to go wherever you have the game file saved. And you're going to create these two folders here. You're going to create a texture dump and a texture replacement. The title of the folder needs to be exactly what the game is that you load in RetroArch, and then exactly this for both of them. Make sure it says replacements, not replacement. So make sure that is exactly the way it is, or it will not work. After that, we can load up RetroArch. Load in the game again. And if you create a shortcut for your your dumps over here. Now I've already been playing the game and it's been dumping, as you can see, all the textures. It dumps all the textures as you're playing. So the best way to do it is to load into a track, and then whenever you're done playing through the whole track, I would create a separate folder and put all of the files, all of the textures within one file. As you can see here, I have my folder with original textures, and I've already done some organizing here. I have Pine Valley, and then I have like things separated, like we have the cabin textures. We have the ice wall that you break through to go through that shortcut towards the cabin. But yeah, everything will be dumped as it's loaded into the game in real time, which is really cool. The whole thing is like organizing it. It takes quite a while. I think eventually I might just upload a like zip file, a zip folder with like all of the textures labeled if I ever get the time to do all that. But yeah, as you can see, my jackal is dripped out right now. This is the textures that I have modified myself. Alright, when it comes to actually editing some of these textures that we're modifying for the sled or character, let's say that we want to change Jackal's, let's say we want to change the back of Jackal's sled. So we'll open that in whatever editing software we choose to. For me, it's Photoshop. As you'll notice, you won't be able to see the texture. It looks like it's like a lower opacity. That's because the game actually has a base black that they apply to the sled and the characters in the game. So the texture itself well, one of the textures has a lower opacity. So when you want to edit, you need to create a background layer and fill it with black to be able to see it as it would be in game. And let's make a quick modification. Let's just change the color here. So I'm just going to change it to make it green. And after you've done that, you would just delete the background layer and you would save this file, this texture, into the replacements folder. As you can see, this is what I currently have. But you would save it there. And do not modify the size or anything other than you need to keep it exactly as it is. The file name and the size needs to be exact or it will not work. So now back in RetroArch, I would recommend putting a save state at your track select so you can quickly view any modifications that you've made, because the game will not load the retexture while you're playing in a race. You have to exit and then reopen it. And as you can see, the back of my sled is normal other than, the lights are green and the design on the back is green. Also, if you want to go ahead and merge the texture with the background layer, that's totally fine. All you have to do to remember after you made any modifications to your texture, you need to lower the opacity to around 25% is what I've found. It doesn't matter how low you go, as long as you don't go to 0 or if you don't keep it at 100%. Because if you have it at 100% and you're playing time trials, when you go into your second lap, your ghost will actually not appear as a ghost for the textures that are 100% opacity. They'll actually show like solid, like you're viewing right here. And if you lower it all the way down to 0, you won't see the texture at all. So you want it to either be between 0 or 100. But I like to go at 25% just because that's what it looks like when I open the file into Photoshop. Now the big question is, will this be allowed in speedruns? Yes, but these rules must be followed for the run to be verified. Rule number 1, retexturing is allowed only for sleds and character models. Rule number 2, removing textures is not allowed. Rule number 3, transparent textures are not allowed. Rule number 4, retexturing is for aesthetic purposes only. Now the fourth rule wasn't my decision, but I thought I'd include it because I find it to be funny. I don't see how anyone could tell the difference between something that is designed for performance and something that is designed solely for aesthetic purposes. It's truly up to the viewer's interpretation. But if you're asking me, as long as you follow the other 3 rules, I don't care what your character or sled looks like. Well, that's going to be all for this video. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below or join the Sledstorm Discord and ask there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the slopes. Peace.